Hi, welcome to Thoughtful Life Coach. My name is Tania. I'm your host. Every month, I try to bring you a new topic on self-care. So last time we talked about the best way to care about yourself. There's the mental health approach where you see a therapist, a counselor, or a psychologist to kind of help you. And also you have the medical aspect of mental health or self-care. But today we're going to talk about something completely different, something that's going to help you with pain, anxiety, depression, still within the same mind frame of self-care, which is very important for you. So today I have Orla with me. Orla is amazing acupuncture, and she's going to talk to us about the different modality that she offers in her practice, her background, what it's good for, and how it can help you with whatever you're going through. So Olga, welcome.
Thank you so much, Tanya. So nice to be here.
A pleasure to having you. Can you introduce yourself to our viewer, please?
Yep. Hello, everybody. My name is Orla Callahan, and I'm an acupuncturist across the hall from Tanya. And I've been in Natick since 2016, practicing acupuncture. I graduated in 2008, and the school, it's called the New England School of Acupuncture. It used to be in Newton, Mass, and it moved a few years ago to Worcester. So that's my brief acupuncture background. It is a second career for me. Before this, I was in corporate America, but not my cup of tea. So thankfully, I figured out my passion, and it's really amazing to have the opportunity to help people, serve people, get people more healthy every day. So I absolutely love it.
If the viewers probably would want to know, what is acupuncture?
So acupuncture is it's energy medicine. It is a complete medical system. So anything that's going on can be treated with acupuncture. Unless there's an emergency. You know, if you need to call 911, then you call 911 and you go to the emergency room. But acupuncture is really good for chronic situations. A lot of the illnesses and diseases in our society today that, don't necessarily have great care. Diabetes, high blood pressure, all of those big ones can be treated with acupuncture and Chinese medicine. So acupuncture is one branch. It's the branch of Chinese medicine that's best known for sure, but it is just one branch of the medicine. So in terms of bringing it to mental health, the whole concept with acupuncture is that it's holistic. So we look at the whole person, the whole body, the mind, the spirit. We really look at like 3 levels: body, mind, spirit. So the body is straightforward, right? You might have a headache or you have back pain. And then at the mind level, it's all about emotions. What are you thinking about? So for example, sometimes I will ask the patient, they come in with a headache and I say, well, who is your headache, right? Like what's causing the headache? And then the spirit level, the way we understand and explain spirit level is your purpose. What is your purpose in this lifetime? Are you following it? Are you on the path? Are you on the right path? Or are you way off? And the body will express all of that. If you're living in harmony, if you're living a happy life, you're probably going to be pretty healthy.
Yes.
But once, basically if the body shows up with illness and disease, it means that the life is out of balance. That's how we look at it.
Okay. So when you do acupuncture on someone, is there a specific guideline? Is there a map of the body that you follow?
So in terms of treating the actual acupuncture treatment, there are meridians. The whole concept is that there are meridians that run through the body, and that's how the energy flows. So just to compare it to something similar, people might know the chakras. So if you do yoga, for example, the energy centers are all down the center of the body like this chakras, right? With acupuncture, the meridians or the energy lines, they run up, mostly straight up and down the body like this. It's mostly straight up and down, arms, legs, torso, back. And the idea is that there's a famous saying that when energy flows, disease and illness cannot enter. So an image I use sometimes is, let's say you're driving on the 95 and it's not rush hour, then it's fine. The cars are zipping along, everything's fine, everyone's happy. But let's say there is an accident or it's rush hour, it's a totally different story, right? People are beeping their horns, angry, frustrated, whatever. So that image is when the energy is not flowing freely, and that's when people can complain about, whatever ailments they have. Whereas in the first image, where the cars are buzzing by freely, no problems.
Yes, yes. So someone who wants to do acupuncture, what would they be looking for? What can it treat?
Yeah, so it can treat anything. Now, I will say many people that come to see me initially, it's for pain, because acupuncture is so well known for pain. I mean, there's so much research. The insurance companies are covering it. The latest breakthrough with insurance coverage is Medicare. So Medicare now covers acupuncture, but there's a lot of buts. It's not straightforward. But the first phase is in place. It gets complicated with insurances. So what I mean by that is, right now, if you have Medicare, you have to be treated in the office of an MD, a medical doctor, because if you're an MD, then you're listed as a provider. Acupuncturists right now, we are not listed as providers for Medicare. But I think down the road it's coming, because so many other insurance companies do cover acupuncturists treating different issues. So pain is the big one. Pain is the one I see a lot. And then what's so interesting is, like, really more than 9 out of 10 times the pain is resolved, right? That's how good it is. That, of course, it depends on the situation. How long has it been going on? How bad is it? How frequent? How intense? We have to find out the details. But people really, almost every single person, they will get some level of improvement, right? So after the pain is resolved, then it's like they'll start asking other questions. Oh, I have digestive problems, or I don't sleep very well. Are those that because I learn about them during the treatments. It's not just back pain. Treat back pain, right? I ask the questions every time when they come in. I ask them how they're doing. I'm always asking how people are sleeping, because that's so important for health. It's like such a foundational, important anchor for one's health.
Yes. So if someone comes to you and said, I have anxiety, there's different level of anxiety.
Right.
So, which one would be best for acupuncture? Okay,
great question. Because the way I think about that, people will often say, yes, I have stress, or I have anxiety. So for me, in my understanding of anxiety, as an acupuncturist, right? So it's kind of a catch-all phrase. Like people on the street, they use the word anxiety a lot, right? So I ask questions and I hear their story. How does it show up? And what are the physical symptoms? And what are the mental, emotional thoughts, right? So we use the I use in my office, one of the theories is called 5-element acupuncture. So that basically, it's all about following nature, which is one of the things I love so much about acupuncture. It is really natural medicine. It's energy medicine, but it's also natural medicine. Okay, so that means the idea is if you follow nature, follow nature's rules, you will live your best life. It's not easy because there's a lot of human rules that we have to follow as well. But coming back to your question, so 5-element theory has 5 different aspects to the body. So there are different organs connected to these elements, there are different seasons, there's different times of the day, and there's different emotions. So for example, I'll talk about one of them, fear. Okay, who doesn't have fear these days, especially if you watch a lot of the news?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so fear is the element associated with the kidney. That's the organ. Kidney bladder is the organ. The color is black. The time of day is 3 to 7 p.m. and the season is winter. So all of those things have a similar vibration, basically. And so they're all captured under the same element. Now, so if the person comes in and says, you know, they're fearful, right? Then I will start asking about other aspects of kidney element to see if they're a strong kidney pattern, right?
Oh, okay.
So physically it's like feet, it's back pain, it's bones, it's teeth, it's ears. And so that's like one person's presentation. Maybe in winter they're really, really tired and they don't like to go out much. Or that person, for example, this is how the real conversation would go. I would highly recommend that person that comes in, let's say with fear and with low back pain, and they're always cold, right?
Yes.
And they might have phrases like, you know, I freeze if I'm afraid, you know, like fight or flight, for example. Yes. So they're frozen, they can't go anywhere. So that's the image of water frozen in wintertime, right? So for that person, I would say, please don't join a gym on January 1st. If they're already going to the gym, that's fine, then that's not my business. But if they're thinking about joining a gym on January 1st, I say don't do it. Because naturally in January, we should be resting. All of nature is resting in January. They're sleeping, they're hibernating, they're growing more hair. And I think they're looking at the humans going like, they're so crazy.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? We're celebrating. Everybody's celebrating some holiday. You know, there's so many religious holidays. There's January 1st. Yeah. So we're using up our chi, our energy, right? We're using up our chi a lot in December. And we should be resting. So then January, people feel like, oh, go to the gym, January 1st, New Year. But no, I don't think it's a good time. I think we should be resting in January, and in spring, that's the time to join the gym, because literally you can spring out if you have rested enough and, you know, just taking care of yourself in a different way during the winter months.
I see.
Right, so that kind of explains the energy or how the kidney person might show up with fear as the emotional concern, right? The anxiety. And then there are 4 other elements, and each of them have an emotion. Joy is the heart. So you can have too much joy, but joy is summer is the heart. The lung is sadness and grief, and the season is the fall. So, for example, somebody, you know, that has lost a loved one will often show up with lung symptoms. It might be straightforward as a cough, but then in the theory, it gets really interesting, like other symptoms that they may have, you know, following the death of a loved one, right?
Of course.
So then that treatment would, you know, if somebody came in with grief, then the treatment plan would be to help the lung be stronger.
Okay.
That's how we think about it. So on the first visit, I'll get all of the history, the goals, the current situation, but then I try to like turn the tables so that we are talking about health, we're talking about wellness, we're talking about possibility, you know, what is possible. Anything is possible.
Yes.
Anything is possible. So, you know, the person with sadness, that kind of an anxiety, like I can't cope, I can't get out of bed because I've lost my partner or lost a parent, whatever it is, then the understanding with acupuncture is that's a lung problem. The lung has been affected. So we strengthen the lung so that the person, it's not like the goal is, you know, that they're going to forget about the loss, but it's more that they can get through their day. It's like you can take the edge off.
Yes.
The acupuncture can just take the edge off so they can function.
Okay.
They can go about their day and do what they have to do.
Perfect. Now, how many treatment would someone need before they see results?
All right. So when people come to see me, almost always I'll say you have to give it 3 or 4 treatments.
Of course.
So what I do is I have them book a total of 4 treatments. So they come on the first time, they book 3 more, and then that means on the 4th visit we talk about how it's been. So we're really judging after 3 treatments how it's going. So that's what I say. I say just allow 3 treatments and then come in on the 4th visit and we'll talk about what's happening. And my expectation is that something has changed for the better. Something has improved. And then we decide, the patient decides. They know.
That's right. They're the expert.
They know whether they want to continue or not, right?
Yes.
Exactly. They're the expert of their
body.
The expert of their body, of their mind, of their spirit. And they decide if they want to continue or not. Yeah.
So I offered Reiki in my facility. And when you mention body, mind, and soul, I kind of automatically see Reiki. To the best of your knowledge, what is the difference between those two?
Actually, so I did Reiki as well many years ago. Yeah. So I can compare them a little bit. Well, acupuncture, you're using a tool. You're using a needle as the tool, right? And Reiki is hands-off. So in that respect, they're very different. You know, I know that some people, I'll never see them because they don't like needles, right? There's a scariness attached sometimes with the whole concept of needles, which I should talk about to describe the needle. If I can divert for a minute.
Of course.
Because I just talked myself into it. So the needles are hair thin, right? They're not like the needle when you go to your regular doctor, because in those offices, needles are either taking blood out of your body or injecting you with something, you know. So that's the purpose of needles in the doctor's office. When you come to see an acupuncturist, we use needles that have no hole in them. That's the difference, right? It's just the stainless steel, and the purpose is to tap into or access the energy in the meridians that are flowing through the body.
Okay.
And to help unblock wherever the blockages are, right?
Okay.
So that's the needles. It's really not that painful. It's really not. You know, I will say you might feel a little, you know, just a tiny little prick of pain for a second, but it goes immediately. Okay. And the other thing I'll say is many people fall asleep on the table, which, like, that's how much they relax.
So if someone, you mentioned fear of needles, there's a lot of people who are afraid of needles because, you know, of chemo treatment they had or whatever might be the case. How would you help someone like that who's afraid of needles doing acupuncture? Or do you offer other modalities that the person can utilize to help them with the pain, anxiety, depression? Yeah.
So yes, I do have another modality that's hands-off, and it actually looks like Reiki. So it's called medical Qigong.
Okay.
And so to the layperson, it looks like Reiki, right? You just have your hand, you know, a foot away from the body, and you treat that way. So that is a way to treat without needles. Absolutely.
Okay.
And it can be very powerful. It's very unusual, so I don't really talk about it until people come into the office, or if they say, you know, I can't do needles. What else can you do? And then I say, yeah, definitely, let's try medical Qigong.
Okay.
It gives a lot of strength and power. Like, the training for it was so intense. There was like a 10-day training where we practiced Qigong for 5 hours a day, and then we ate like kings, and it was an amazing, amazing experience. But there was a lot of training, it was like accessing our own chi, our own energy levels, our own chi, building it up so that we can then pass on the chi, just like in Reiki. passing on the energy to heal the other person.
So how long has medical qigong been around, and where does it originated from?
Yeah, so it's been around since the beginning of acupuncture. Thousands of years ago, they say 5,000 years.
Wow.
And the whole history is really fascinating. Like, acupuncture came from a spiritual practice.
Yes.
And that spiritual practice was qigong, which is like meditation, or like kind of like yoga, you know, for people not familiar with it, or tai chi. Tai chi and qigong are the exercise aspect. So it was during these meditative qigong times, you know, the old sages spent a lot of time in these meditative states of qigong. And it was during qigong that acupuncture came clear to them. It's like they got a download of the acupuncture system, of the meridians, because we don't see the meridians,
yes.
right? We don't see them. We study them in school, but there are very few people alive that actually see the meridians. So in terms of the question about where medical qigong came from, it's where it all started, really. And I'm lucky enough to have found a teacher. He is a grandmaster. His name is Grandmaster Nan Lu. He's based in New York. And that is the lineage I am proud to be a part of.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you would like us to know about that you offer in your practice?
Yeah, so one of the things, I'm so glad to have this opportunity because we've already talked about a lot of the common ailments and the reasons people come, right?
Yes.
You know, the pain, the sleep, digestive problems, that kind of stuff. But one of the things I treat in my office that I really love to treat, and the results are incredible, is skin care. And so that means any kind of, you know, red, itchy skin, hives, rashes, anything like that. And oftentimes people come because nothing else is working.
Yes.
But the results are really amazing. And it's really worth a try. It's
Perfect.
really worth a try. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm so happy you came to gave us more instruction and knowledge about acupuncture. I know there's a lot of our viewers who would like to get that service done but are afraid. Now, as far as insurance cover that, can they file a claim? Can they do the treatment with you and then submit a claim later to the health coverage?
Yep, they can totally do that. And I know a lot about the whole insurance system. I had somebody that did the billing for me years ago, and I don't do that anymore. I just find, honestly, my treatments are more pure. They are, I'm going to say they're a higher quality when I'm not thinking about the time blocks and all the stuff that goes with insurance. Okay.
Yes.
So having said that, the patient can totally submit the claim and get reimbursed as long as their policy has coverage for acupuncture. And then there's one other detail, and you know, I'm happy to discuss it with them, but in my practice, your insurance must be out of network or PPO.
Okay.
So there's kind of two things. Your insurance must have coverage, and you must have PPO to get coverage from my office, but there are plenty of other places you can go if you have the other choice, which is HMO or in network.
So the best thing for them to do would be to contact their health coverage and see if it covers and would they be able to do the reimbursement.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then I give a super bill which has all the details they need, all the codes.
Perfect, perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for stopping by. It
pleasure.
was a pleasure having you here.
Absolutely.
Once again, acupuncture, and there's other modalities she offers. Acupuncture is good for anxiety, pain, if you suffer from any type of pain, stress. You can't go wrong. This is all about self-care. If you have been taking care of people, now it's your turn to be taken care of. It's your turn to say, I'm putting that hat down and I want someone to help me. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Until we meet again, stay true to yourself.